Okay, the coronavirus. I know we've talked about this before, but please listen. I'm going to turn this over to somebody far more qualified than myself in just a second. And believe you me, you need to listen to this man. But let me just say a couple of words first and the reason why I invited him. Okay? First of all, the coronavirus, obviously, it's affecting all of us. It's causing not only horrible economic times and great isolation, but not to be overly dramatic, but it's just a fact. People are dying and getting sick. And at California International University, we are speaking with doctors constantly to get you the best information that we can. We're very, very lucky to have world-class physicians advising us. Going to that, I want to ask you a quick question. What is the biggest danger right now? Is it the coronavirus? Is it our lack of resources? Businesses going under, not having the masks, not having ventilators, not even to make payroll for certain kinds of businesses out there, and people becoming unemployed, crime increasing? Is it increased drug use? Actually, it's stupidity. As offensive as this sounds, my grandfather used to say all the time, don't be an idiot. Now, I'm sure that everybody at our university are very smart, intelligent people. My point is this. Smart people get corona because of bad decisions by others. Okay? So we have to make good decisions. And we have to encourage other people to make good decisions. So even if you understand some of the information or all that I am presenting today and what my guest is going to present, please show them this video to other people, your family, your friends. I don't want this video to become popular for me. It is something that is extremely important. Okay? So, moving on. Who should we listen to? Should we listen to the president? Should we listen to Republicans, the Democrats, Fox News, MSNBC? What's going on here? We get all kinds of opinions every single day. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Don't listen to swimming experts that have never been in the water. Okay? Politicians, blogs, TV personalities, shock jocks, chat rooms, even friends and family, as offensive as that may sound. Now, you may have some friends and family that actually are physicians and are nurses and medical practitioners. I'm lucky enough to be one of those people that knows them. Yes, those are kinds of people that you can listen to. But for the most part, 99% of us, including me, are not medical practitioners. Okay? I'm an educator. I study how people learn. That's why I'm talking about this now. When it comes to medical advice, we need to listen to the experts. Okay? So, imagine some politician is saying, hey, I've never been in the pool, but I will teach you to swim. Yeah, you're probably going to drown if you've never been in the pool before yourself. Now, do listen to swimming experts that have been in the water. So if you actually had to learn to swim and you had access to Michael Phelps, who won 28 Olympic medals, maybe the greatest athlete of all time, that would be a pretty good person to listen to. When it comes to the coronavirus, maybe, just maybe, we should listen to folks like the Center for Disease Control, the World Health Organization, doctors, nurses, and other medical practitioners. So the choice is yours. We can listen to non-experienced egomaniacs, or we can listen to the experts. This is very serious. This is your health. My father always said, God gave us a brain and the ability to use it. So let's use it. Now, what I try to do is I try to use my brain And Dr. Stephen Smith is somebody I want to introduce you to, and he's going to speak here in just a second. He is the Chief Medical Officer of the Korean Community Health Center. There are many free services there that he gives to patients every single day. Now, he got into medical school without an undergraduate degree. He had such an outstanding academic experience as an undergraduate. His medical school said, "You know what, Stephen, you're good. You don't need a degree. Just please come. Please get over here before somebody else snatches you up." Okay. He lectures and trains many clinics in his practices. His family residency was ranked in the top 4 nationwide. His chairman became the chief advisor to President Bill Clinton. And Dr. Smith also was an active clinical faculty member, training medical students and residents himself. He's a world-class doctor. He's modest. He doesn't like it when I speak about him like this, but the facts are the facts. Now, let me introduce to you, and please listen to Dr. Stephen Smith.
So I'm going through basically the series of slides that Dr. Eller has very generously provided. Can my dog or cat carry the virus? Well, the answer is twofold, yes and no. So dogs or cats can potentially, rarely, harbor the virus, meaning that they can be a potential carrier but not show any symptoms, and they don't get sick from it whatsoever. However, there's no evidence that that can actually be passed to humans. Very complicated transmission techniques, but certain viruses can only be transmitted to certain other species under certain conditions. There's no evidence that it can come from a cat or dog at this point, so nothing to worry about. The next slide I'm going to talk about, that Dr. Eller has provided, watching the news all day. Well, this actually has been a huge source, particularly in the beginning of this illness, but even still, there is information and there's misinformation out there. And unfortunately, what catches people's eyes, what sells clicking on CNN.com and the like, is looking at that headline and getting very distressed about it, and then continuing to click and click until you become so anxious you really can't continue. So I recommend to all my patients to start with something like cdc.gov. That's the CDC website. It's unbiased, it's nonpartisan, it will tell you the information exactly as you need to see it, and it doesn't create hype. The hype has actually caused so much stress amongst everyone I see, my patients, my family members, and it's really not necessary because of the misinformation is leading people to do some pretty desperate measures, including hoarding toilet paper, which I don't understand why. Rice, pasta, all these things that all of you know about. I personally have not been able to buy a roll of toilet paper now for about 2.5 months because of the hype about apparently there's a shortage, but not helpful. You don't cure coronavirus by having 100 rolls of toilet paper or anything like that. So don't buy into the hype. Watch the news a little bit, but watching too much of the news or reading too much of the news on the internet, it becomes very depressing after a while because it continuously focuses on the negative. There is a lot of websites out there that are only positive news information. I'd encourage you to find those out. You can Google search them, but they're definitely out there. Next slide, can I get tested? Well, this has been a real point of contention, actually, me as a physician, and certainly I'm sure you as potential patients. It has been really, really difficult to be tested publicly, even with the doctor's order, for quite some time. The tests have been in short supply. They have been very misdistributed into certain areas where they were not needed as greatly, and other areas which desperately needed them and didn't have them. Now, currently, the testing is being launched into the clinical systems. For instance, my site is going to be having the test available hopefully very soon, but previously to that had been only available at the county level. It eventually moved into the lab setting, but they were in such short supply that many clinics were either provided none or very few, like under 5. So right now, the testing really doesn't change what we're going to do with what we recommend to our patients, which is to simply stay home. Not that I want to call it necessarily a treatment, but the quote treatment end quote really for coronavirus to stay home and to avoid contact with others. Doesn't mean you have to lock yourself in your bedroom and have your family slide a dinner plate underneath your door at night. It just means stay home, stay isolated. The current guidelines from the CDC, you can be around other members of your family, live in the same house. We're all under the same lockdown restrictions. So really that's all that's needed, is just to stay home, stay out of public. Don't go out, don't go to parties, don't go to barbecues, those kind of things. At this point, this will be lifted eventually. So reasons to potentially get tested. Well, right now, CDC guidelines recommend getting tested on the following conditions. So temperature more than 100.4, shortness of breath, particularly severe shortness of breath, or cough, and that's an incessant cough, not just once in a while, but one that just continues. Under those conditions, you can call your county health department and you can be tested if you meet the screening guidelines. Now, even if you meet those screening guidelines, they still have restricted it even more based on test availability. So in some cases, you may be deferred from even getting tested at that point. So hopefully that allays some of your concerns about the coronavirus. This is nothing new, but it certainly will create a new normal once this is over. This will be over eventually, but we will actually, as a society, evolve. The way medicine is practiced will evolve. As for instance, I'm doing telehealth predominantly now with patients, a way I've never practiced in close to 30 years. Patients actually love it, appreciative that they don't have to go out and be exposed either by driving to my office or being there. So we will evolve as a society. I think certain traditions may change, or once common handshakes may start to go away based on our knowledge of infectious disease etiologies. But we will make it through this. And I'm certainly available to anybody that has any questions. My email address, smith@kcshealthcenter.org. You can email me anytime if you have any questions. But please just continue on. Don't panic. This will end very soon, and we will have a new normal. Of that I can guarantee. Thank you.